striking out bright. In every twist we find the light. Breeding the best, gotta have patience in this game. Chondro Corner, where we make our name. Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner. Chondro Corner, where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro Corner, watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind.
What is up, everybody? How you doing out there tonight? Super excited to have Rob here, Tetraham Chondros. We're going to be learning a bit about some science tonight, not just some basic husbandry, but diving in a little bit deeper to what makes him tick and some of his biosecurity measures. Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight in the comments. We'll shout out what we can. And definitely want to thank our sponsors for making this possible. And, of course, Mike at the Herp Collectors Network. Thanks for having me. Every time I'm on here is always a blast and learning something with the guests, with the audience every single time. So without further ado, let's bring up Rob and his son, Jaden. What's up? How are you?
Hello.
Hey. Good. See, audio works fine. Isn't that crazy? I don't know why, but it works fine if we go live.
There you go. Yeah. Can hear you just good.
Yeah.
Everything sounds great. Looks good too. We're finally on the computer. Screen's nice and big.
Nice. Yeah, always does technical issues. I did have one really terrible event one time hosting the Epic virtual pet conference, and I guess it was weeks in the planning. It was a big ordeal. It was 60-something guests live and three different guests and 6 tracks all at the same time, and keynote speakers and sponsors like Chewy.com and big time Bavarian Electronics, and it was big time stuff, and Pangea. And so when it doesn't go right, there's a lot at stake, And one guest just could not get his audio and video to sync up with us, and we ended up having a no-hitter for that half hour. I had to fill in for him with no preparation and no idea. I just had to flap my gums for 30 minutes, and that was really something.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you filled it in proper.
I was told so. I never saw it. I never went back and watched it.
Well, thanks for having us on. We appreciate it.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Jaden, how are you tonight, sir?
What did you say?
I said, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good.
Good. Are you guys up? Where are you guys at? Are you guys in that blizzard up in the Northeast, or whereabouts you located?
We're in Michigan, just by right lower than Lake Michigan. So we got some of that lake effect as well.
I bet. That's probably just a common thing there. Those are some tough winters.
Yeah. We still got about 3-4 inches on the ground.
Yeah. That probably won't change anytime soon.
I know the East Coast is getting pretty hammered, so
yeah, I saw the headlines.
Hopefully everybody stays safe out there.
Yeah, definitely some good people out there, of course, and great places to visit as well. I love New York City, and I got a close friend of mine in Jersey, and it's just such a congested area. I can only imagine dealing with that much snow. How you get rid of it? It's got to be tough. So you guys are used to it, though. If you get the lake effect snow all the time up there, it's got to be kind of old hat for you guys.
Oh yeah.
So what got you into chondros, man? What was the first thing? I noticed you looks like you're perhaps a dog trainer or something by trade, by day, or what do you do for work? I see the canine aspect of it, and your outfit looks very professional, so I assume you're not just walking them.
Yeah, so it's a sport. It's a hobby with the dogs that I train the dogs and take them, title them, have fun with them, go around the country and our United States and trial them. In all breed and against their own breed, and I've been able to do pretty well with the males that I have, and in the middle of training some females right now, so we'll see how they do.
Oh, so these are dogs you own. These aren't just, you're not just hired to train other people's dogs and say, okay, here you go. It's now it's a complete package. This animal is a service dog or a police dog or military or sniffer. These are animals you own.
Yeah. They're actually our pets, and I'm teamed up with a good breeder and helping title some of her dogs. But they're my pets, you know what I mean? They're her genetics, my pets. It's nothing but self gratification, plastic trophies and little ribbons, good pictures, and in a good discipline. It's good for the dogs. It's good for them to vent, and
an active life is a good life for pretty much 95% of the dogs out there. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
Huh.
and
Do
it's
you
fun.
see any how long you been in dogs, or do you have any correlation between the furry four-legged creatures and to your? It looks like you've kept chameleons.
Yeah,
And obviously,
the kids got chameleons, and during COVID, and then they produced like 86 babies, and then we sold them on Morph Market, and then he bought a snake with the proceeds.
nice. And what state did you choose?
We got one from Dave D. It was VV 1818.
Very nice. Excellent, excellent bloodline. I've been looking more and more into some of the Northeast breeders lately. Kind of find kind of some new enlightenment, even just to learn about some of the lineage and how to use the right names for the certain bloodlines and how it's gotten kind of mixed and diluted over time. I really wish we could. I don't know. Maybe someone needs to write a book about it before we lose some of that legacy information. You know, everything from Trooper Walsh and Greg Maxwell onward. We really need to, I think, document that properly so we pay homage to the history of it and don't lose the proper names for some of these bloodlines. Seems important to me.
Absolutely. It's kind of in the dog world too, so it was easy to transition over and be like, oh, well, we read pedigrees for breedings and dogs that have done well as Dobermans, and once we started to see pedigrees for the snakes, it was easy to understand.
Yeah, yeah. And the chondro world, as far as I know, unless there's other smaller communities that may do something similar, is really one of the only ones that really follow that lineage and keep track of it to this degree. And I understand. I know I have a ball python collection, not massive, 30 of them, a very specific handful of projects, but they're starting to take some of that note, some of that from the chondro world, kind of starting to bleed over into the ball python world, especially in your higher end animals. Do you see that as a trend? Are you hearing it anywhere else in the reptile community that they might take a note from dog or horse breeding that's kind of in chondro land already? Is it going to any other species you hear of?
I mean, I do know that they do it in the panther chameleons. I mean, I know that they try to track it pretty well. I mean, if you're fine tuning and phenotype, genotype selecting and being super selective, having the back lineage of the ancestors is definitely, you got to have data, got to have some correlation.
Is you have a lot of science? I feel like as a background, you study this stuff. Obviously, you know genetics. It sounds like biology. Do you have a science background, or I mean, is it just something you love in general with nature and animals?
Yeah, no, I don't have a science background. Just, if the more you dive into it, the more knowledge you get from it, then you can start to put some of it together to try to maximize your potential at committing to these projects, whether it be blue, black, yellow, calico,
Yep.
red dominant, yellow dominant.
What's your passion project, Rob?
We got a bunch of nice stuff built up and just pairing them together, being successful, continuing what the keepers in the past have put together, not trying to destroy it. Like connect the right snakes together to continue on with the proper pedigree. That would be, that's the start of it, right?
Yep.
We're new. This is our fourth clutch ever, so we don't really know what we're producing.
Well, Tommy's Chondros is out here, man. He's up here saying you're a prodigy. This guy's got your back all the way. He's team THC. So shout out to Tommy's Chondros. It's good to have friends in this game for sure.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Now so you kind of like designers, right? What did you start out with? Did you start out with localities? Your fourth clutch. So did you buy adult animals to start with, or what was your jump off point when you first got into them?
How old was the animal that you got?
I think it was 4 years old.
I think it was a 19. It was a 2019 animal, and I think we got it in 2020. So, it might be it might be 6 years old now. So it ended up being female. So just about mature enough to breed.
Oh, that's great. So did you have to wait an extra year? Sometimes adult females might take a year off with the transition. Was it somewhere local, or did you have to get it from far away? Was there any transition time for a down year when you got?
Yeah, it came from Colorado to Michigan. So,
Yep.
we definitely took our slow time with it.
Message in row. So I was just checking the viewership, making sure everything's showing up properly on his end here. Mike, I would message Mike, but I think he has class Monday nights actually till about 8:30. So I can never get a hold of Mike during the show.
It's good
So
though. I can see it on the other TV. So
was there an important game on or something? Did we overlap somebody? Because I'm like, people need to be here, damn it.
no, it's all good, man.
So
It's
your
all
fourth
it's all
clutch. Now, what point did you come up across Nido? Were you aware of it when you got that first animal, or was it something that you became more aware of the pitfalls of collecting animals from various, breeders or even imports?
In 2019 they had this event down in Florida called Southwest Carpet Fest.
Yep.
And it was at Cody and Pia's house, and Cody and Pia are the ones that were, affiliated with Fishhead Diagnostics.
Okay.
So they were advertising and creating momentum for the event, and it just was like really loud and in my face as we were chewing up most of the information. So, when you jump into it and you see a lot of really good knowledge on Nido and what it could be, and the fact that we were in the COVID, which it just kind of all made sense.
A white
And then all of a
heightened
sudden,
awareness.
yeah, right. And then all of a sudden, I got a hold of this dude named by James Opdahl, and I was working an hour away. So every morning on the way to work, I'd call him, and him and I are in the same time zone. So he's an early bird, I'm an early bird. So for like a month, we would talk on the way to work, and just, he fed me the right information. He told me how to stay on top of everything and be clean, and horror stories to be aware of, and, education.
Yeah, education is key, and it's like I don't know if you're old enough to remember how like AIDS was perceived when it first kind of became public in '85, and everyone was seen as a leper, and you couldn't hug them, you didn't want to be near them. It was like people were just ostracized if HIV or AIDS, and it wasn't until like Ryan White in '91, '92 when things started to kind of change a little bit, but it really wasn't until the late '90s when people started to kind of go, education set in for a decade. And we realized it was a very weak virus outside of the host, and it doesn't live long outside of a blood or a fluid, seconds literally. And so communication of that was not as much of a boogeyman as people thought it was. And then we start to realize that it is okay to shake their hand, and it wasn't going to, going to die because of that. And people became a lot more kind. And so with education, kindness came, and then some awareness, and then better safety things. Instead of just avoiding something like the plague and say, oh, I'll stick my head in the sand, Nido doesn't exist, I don't touch it, I don't have it, I don't get these other animals. Instead of doing that and making yourself a possible vector to continue it on, even unwittingly, when you have education, you kind of go, oh, now we learn it's more saliva-based Nido. The tongs, the food dish, wearing gloves from enclosure to enclosure is silly, and just little things like that. It is an aerosol, and I kind of liken it to a surgeon going from one OR bay to the other and not washing their hands or changing gloves in between. It's
and I watched your YouTube, about a half hour ago too.
Yeah.
I liked it. That prep, yeah, that was good. And like you said, I mean, even if you're gloving up and you're not really getting dirty, at least Perel pump off the wall.
Yep.
Get your nice hands wet. You know what I mean? Get in there. But if you're going for super dirty stuff, I'd say it's worth a glove change.
Absolutely, and you're right. Yeah, simple thing, just a water dish, but yeah, if you're changing a puppy pad or wiping the walls down, yeah, I completely agree. It came down. I think I really started to sink in. It was all in the Tree Tuesdays. I think it was Bill, former anesthesiologist, obviously crazy medical background, and he kind of described it that way. That really, it's a really simple, basic cleanliness that prevents the spread. and don't just bring in animals willy-nilly and quarantine. I don't know. It seems silly now, almost looking back. How did it get so far out of hand? Where it got to be a kind of a. I've heard of pet stores like offering their whole collection, euthanizing the whole thing because of ball
I don't
pythons.
think there was testing for it. There, that was the big thing for, like the testing just kind of evolved in a way, in like 2019, 2016, 18, they started to have testing for it. So then everybody kind of jumped on the bandwagon and started to comb through their collections, testing and getting, taking care of their problems that they found, or luckily not finding anything. And I think that's, I learned our quarantine from Socrates. I learned our quarantine from James, Tommy Budway. I mean, they're the ones that kind of directed us in that way, and why not, do it right, make sure everything's safe, give it enough time. I usually send tests to people's houses before even thinking about shipping my way.
Yeah, and I heard, I was going to ask your affiliation. Like, I saw your bio. You spend a lot of precious real estate on your Instagram bio describing the tests that you run for your animals. And I had not heard of Fish Head, and I looked them up and saw they're kind of just north of Port St. Lucie, I believe. No, north of Jupiter, south of Port St. Lucie on the east coast of Central South Florida. And I hadn't heard of them, and I looked at their webpage. Incredible, really top shelf organization. Very, very nice facility. And I've seen some interviews with Ral, and I like them. I was aware of them down in Texas. And so you've kind of sent some of your tests to both labs. Is that a compare and contrast? Did you get different results when you sent them to different ones? Were they aware of it before you sent it in, or was it like a blind test on your own?
It was a blind test. Never have I seen anything different come back from either one. And it kind of is a bleed over again from the dogs. So like, having a Doberman, you do an EKG on them every 6 months because their main flaw in their genetics is DCM, dilated myopathy cardio. DCM, dilated cardiomyopathy, my bad.
Yep.
So, so there are things that we do for the Dobermans that just are making sure that they're tip top, and I think that's easy to inherit. It's a $25 test, whether you're sending in poop or a mouth swab. I mean, really, you can do it. I mean, it's for your own benefit too. It's not for anybody else but yourself. You know what you got, what's there, how to be safe, and if you plan on going forward with breeding, it can, save you in the long run too.
I am trying to get our viewership up. Someone told me that it is not listed, and usually it's listed in the feed for YouTube. And I'm not ignoring you. I'm never on my phone, but I'm trying to reach out to Ro and Mike to see if they can help me with getting our viewership up, because usually we're in the dozens, and so I want to get that corrected as fast as possible. So I apologize. I am not ignoring you. I am trying to. I've screenshotted that message and I'm sending it to a couple people here and see if they can fix that. I don't know if there was a switch that wasn't set before the show went live, but I want to fix that. You deserve better. So we're getting some people in. They said they could follow the IG link, and that's awesome. But IG alone is not good. I want us to get 25, 30 people live, which is where we should be at all the time. So just working on that. So I didn't want you to think I was rude. I'm not a texter.
No.
I'm focused.
I seen what was going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix that. So live isn't searchable on YouTube. Well, that's really annoying. If anybody knows how to fix that, I'm not a super IT guru. So if you could fix that for me, someone tell me how. If not, we'll get Mike or Ro to hop in on the backside. Maybe they can do something, because I don't want to leave this and kill the live. So I'm not going to hit any buttons I'm not authorized to. I'm just here so I don't break things. They hire me for my great personality and my charming looks, but they don't hire me for IT. So let's see here. We got some good information. Thank you, Chondrovolt. That was helpful because I was in the dark on that. So the arenavirus and paramoxiovirus, cryptosporidium. We've heard of that one. Tell us about those. What lurks in the background, are those curable? What can you tell us about them? I mean, I've done some cursory research, but I'm no expert. But tell us what you've learned about them and why you felt they were important for your collection, enough to list them in your bio that every animal's going through that protocol for you.
Well, the Boyd test with RAL includes all three of those for $60.
Okay.
So I usually run one of those Boyd tests on the snake just to make sure. And then thereafter, I'm just running the $25 Nido test. As far as what they do, I've seen pictures, I've read a little bit about it. I do know that they are very contagious, just like Cryptosporidium. Again, am I super knowledged on like how they destroy the animal? No. Do I know how to clean them up? Well, yeah, with a good biosecurity, you know what I
Yep.
mean? It's gloving up and using the right sprays. So again, if I jumped into it and really learned more about exactly what they do to the animal, yeah, I could definitely do more research on that. But I
Yeah,
mean, the fact that they're there to test is basically the reason why I did it.
yeah. Well, you're spending $40 once, and obviously the Nido test you're doing what every 3 months, $25. At least three times, right, to get a really solid no. Is what I've been told before. Do you agree to that same time frame? 3 months times 3 tests, 3 months apart.
Yeah, that'll get you out of quarantine, and then I'd say the animal's pretty safe to do a good, get it in the collection and do a once a year a couple times, and then
Yep.
maybe hold off until you're about to breed. And then right before breeding, I like to get a swab on everything too, just in case something happened, because you're about to put two snakes together. So now your chances are, through the roof that you're going to be spreading it. If you've already done all that work, why not just throw that one extra layer in for yourself before putting two $3,000 snakes together and then multiplying the germs and whatnot,
Oh man, yeah, that's terrifying. And then learning what we've learned in the last few years, I shame on me. I feel like I need to have done a better job, and I need to. Now that I haven't bought chondros, I've got the same few here for a minute, and I just I definitely want to have better protocols in place for myself. And every time I see someone kind of champion this cause, just makes me go, oh God, I'm cringeworthy. It makes me feel like I'm not doing enough. I've been lucky, dodged a bullet, stupid, however you want to call it. But yeah, I've got a pack of tests for RAL. I've got 10 or 15 swabs. I'm familiar with them, and that's why I was curious about the fish head, because I was like, I didn't know there was another lab, and I know some of their testing came out of the coronavirus isolation and testing. At least for RAL, they said that some of those items, some of those, I guess, test features, how they came about, they kind of extrapolated towards better testing, faster, more accurate testing for Nido. So that's very cool to see the industries helping each other.
Yeah, and I believe both of them work together at some level.
Yep.
So I think it's it's for me to feel safe. I talked to many people that have lost way too many by buying snakes that were in other collections, or just however it may be, they lost it from Nido. So I just didn't want that to ever happen. So I put a lot of faith in into the testing, and I mean that's why not put it in the bio? I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool. It stood out to me. Not only just your animals, you got some great specimens, by the way, and I want to get into that. We'll do some screen sharing and take a look at some of that. You sent me some great videos today, and your Instagram page is just eye candy. So we'll look at some of that in a minute. I did have a couple questions for Jaden if he's up for it here. We'll see. What do you think, Jaden? Since you were the one that kind of broke into this, the chondro game in the household there, you got time for just a couple questions, or you got Boogie? You got to hang out for a minute?
Yeah. I'll answer a few questions.
Heck yeah. What was your favorite? So just off the top of my head, what's your favorite part of the chondros? Is it the beauty, the fact that they're arboreal, or just that they're kind of like mean looking and menacing and they're just really gorgeous, that quintessential snake look? Or what is their favorite thing about them for you?
I guess for me, it'd just be like just the fact that all of them can be different.
Yeah.
Like, just, I mean, obviously you got the regular green trees, but the fact that some of them can become black, the fact that they're yellow, like, just the fact that splicing different genes together can create a completely different result, and that's what I like, just the randomness
Yeah.
and like the fun breeding part of it.
Yeah, it still mystifies me. The ball pythons are the Mendelian square. They're so linear as far as you got, the genes are very predictable. Now there's still odds, but it's much more of a straight line path when something like ball pythons. And then chondros, thus the lineage, as Rob pointed out, was so important. It's so interesting how, you might get a very bland looking snake, but its background is just chock full of bloodlines, and what you can produce with the offspring when mixed with the right partner. It's pretty interesting. It kind of blows my mind. So Jaden, I totally agree with you there. The genetics, it's mind boggling to me. And I think I need to learn more history, like more about the bloodlines. And like when you say this high yellow or, king line, or you say a Prada Maniquari or actually a calico, or, these things, they matter. And I guess it's kind of lost in you when you're new in the hobby. So that's cool to hear you talk like that about history as far as lineage goes. It's very, very responsible. That's really, really neat. It shows in your collection. You guys got an amazing collection. What's your feeding process for these animals then? I guess no matter what color they are, they all eat the same, right? So what's your process?
So for feeding them, so how we do it is that, say you got a snake that hasn't eaten and has pooped, we feed them like a rat or a quail, and then we let them digest it.
Mhm.
And if they haven't pooped since then, we feed them at least 2 more times, and the third meal being smaller than the other two, because we don't want to bloat them or anything.
Mhm.
And then we just wait for the process of, letting them use the bathroom, because once that third meal's in, we don't feed them anymore. Not
Okay.
until they go poop.
All right. Have you found any relief with that? Do you do any soaks? Do you ever like tub soak them for a day, half a day, or anything like that to help with the
Yeah, if it gets too long, we actually have like me and him designed it. We may have like a makeshift perch that we set up in our shower, and then we bring our snake to the shower, and then we just let him we set the hot water on.
Mhm.
Not too hot, like 80 degrees, and then we let the snake roam around and just roam around the makeshift perch for like a little while.
So do they cruise around a lot? Do they explore a bunch even though the lights are on?
Oh yeah, they cruise around in there. Sometimes we catch them on the floor, but most of the time so far we had poops in the shower.
Oh yeah.
So it does
That's
work.
what bleach is for. Oh man, that's awesome. So then I guess you don't have a problem with stuck sheds, or what do you do about stuck sheds? It sounds like some pretty good, humidification, some good moisture content for them inside and out when you do that.
Yeah, the stuck sheds, that does kind of help with it too, putting them in that perch. But also we got separate bins that we could just get like 3 inches of water in the tub, put some paper towel down, and then we set the snake in that tub, and then then they just roam around. Hopefully, helps them out.
Yeah, is any of this preventative or is it reactive? If they have a stuck shed, if they have one, then you do this, or is it a routine for you guys where you kind of do a preventative
Well,
if your humidity lags? I assume in Michigan you're running the heat a lot, depending on what type of heat source it is. Forced air, fireplace, drying the house a lot more than say radiant heat in the floor or something. Do you guys have stuck shed as an issue like 6 months out of the year? Is that something you have to be cautious of?
no, it's not. It's not a huge issue. It's not exactly common, but it does happen. And how we prevent it is we keep it humid in there.
Yep.
We got a humidifier that we keep running constantly. And also we have a sprayer that we spray in.
Mhm.
We do spray, especially like once we notice, you can tell when the snake is about to shed.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
we
we-
also make sure that we spray the cages.
Yep.
And
Yeah, here I'm in Arkansas, northeast Arkansas, just south of the Missouri Boot Heel, a little west of Memphis. That's kind of where I am. So higher relative humidity than you guys. Definitely not as cold of temperatures. And even, gosh, I struggle to get it at 30-40% humidity. I put 2 gallons of water in the air a day, and with a nice, modern humidifier, and I still, if I don't, I'm down to like 14 to 19%. Relative
what
humidity.
kind of humidifier is it?
What kind? It's an ionizing. Oh gosh, it's a tall cylindrical one, about 2.5 foot tall. I don't know if I can see. You can't see the name right on it from here, but it's a white one. It's about 2.5 foot tall. It ionizes up the top. It doesn't make a drippy mess. It's really nice. My mom got it for me a couple of Christmases ago. Shout out to mom, love you. And yeah, it's great. It rocks, and it'll put 2 gallons of water in the air a day. If you can't keep up sometimes. It's the winter, I guess everywhere just about.
Okay.
Yeah, you got the heat on, so it's shocking the air.
Yep.
But yeah, it definitely does take a little bit more effort in the winter months.
Oh yeah, just about anywhere except for even in Florida, I would presume. But every I guess it's relative to where you live, right? Florida, it's so high all year long, and then when you're at 50% in the winter, you're like, oh my god, it's so dry. And you and I, we would kill for 50% humidity, relative around in the atmosphere. So what do you do for record keeping? You've covered your feeding, you've covered your bowel movements, you covered your sheds. That sounds like you need to be keeping records. What do you do, Jaden, for how do you keep track of that? I'm more of an old school guy. I don't have. I keep index cards and a little clippy, and it's kind of antiquated, but it's really easy information for me. I can walk up to the cage and go, time to eat. And so, what do you do? Do you do something modern like Husbandry Pro, where you can kind of customize everything, or how do you handle that?
We haven't used an app, but we do have a binder that we keep of basically every single snake. And then we also print out a few papers of all our snakes that we currently have. And we have them in columns. So it'd be like squares, and where you can write we write water change or def CC, clean cage, or shed, or just a urate. We write those down in that piece of paper, and then we go to our binder, and that's our records for a whole year. And so we put it down on that day, and then we just make sure that we're keeping up with the year, the day. And
I just thought of something. We need an AI solution because, even if you took all that, went to a spreadsheet, even in Google Docs, a free one, and it's could you imagine the amount of hours and time it takes to sit down and type all that in? We need an AI, tell it, I want a spreadsheet to do these columns with these values, and just kind of picture and scan those documents in, and then poof, because that would catch you up and allow you to have a portable thing that you maybe wouldn't lose to any kind of damage, water damage, or anything like that. Because that's one thing I worry about is my records are physically vulnerable, and so the thing that holds me back from sitting down is I can't even imagine the amount of time it would take to put all that in. Any plans to change your binders? It sounds like you keep a file cabinet on these things ongoing historically.
Yeah, there's a binder for every year so far.
And have you noticed any trends? I noticed some people tell me that, this female, she laid 12 eggs last year and she laid 12 eggs this year. Or they say, she always ovulates a month earlier than all the rest of my collection, or something like that. Or this male will never go off food. He'll eat in between. He'll eat in the cage with a female. He never stops, or this one will go off food for 3 months. Don't freak out. And so they'll look back year after year and go, no big deal. That's what this animal does. Have you guys noticed any trends in your record keeping where some animals may have a stuck shed more, or go off food longer, or anything like that? I know I got a ball python or two that for some reason they're kept like everyone else, but they have stuck sheds more often.
Well,
I don't know why.
like that female that was in the shower on the reel, that female seems to need to go in the shower frequently, no matter I feed her smaller meals because I noticed that she tail hangs a little bit. And I do have to put more effort into her to get her to poop. I do have a female that sticks on the colder side, doesn't really go to the hot side, so I drop the hot side slowly, and I found out, okay, she will go to the hot side. It was just maybe in her likings a little too hot.
Yep.
So I mean, those are just two little subtle females that I've noticed will have quirky likings of their own. Um, Only had ever one male go off of feed.
Okay.
Um, all the males that we have seem to eat and breed so far. So not all the males have bred. Some of them are still taking their time, which is all good. It's all part of reading the animal, getting to know what they like and what they dislike.
Yeah. Now, as far as water quality, how's your water quality up there? I usually more north in my experience. I've lived in a few different areas, and Florida, Eastern Tennessee. I'm from St. Louis. Now I live in Arkansas. I've traveled, a fair amount. And so I noticed the water quality generally is, I think, more tasty to me up north than it is down south, southeast. What's your water quality there? I would assume pretty hard, pretty high carbonate hardness and GH. I would think in mineral content there.
Yeah. So we don't use our sink water because when we were first starting out and we did use our sink water, we noticed that there was a lot of iron buildup in our bowls, and we would have to put in a little extra effort into cleaning them after, it was a rim on where the water was.
Yep.
And so we switched to RO water, which is a filtered water that goes into a drum that we have in the basement.
Sure.
And then we fill a bunch of water jugs, and then we bring them up, and they're clean.
Oh yeah.
We've never had issues with it.
I think you have better urates that way. Some areas that have more calcium or lime in their water as part of that carbonate hardness. They'll have sometimes problems with almost the constipation of just the urates, not necessarily the fecal matter itself, the brown part, but the urate, the concentrated urine powder. It's supposed to be packed into a pellet, and if it ends up being really a lot or very yellow instead of more whitish, they can impact the animal. I guess when they're younger, can lead to prolapse, but yeah, water quality. I have heard you're not the first person to say that. That's really cool that you guys mind that. I spent a decade doing commercial reef aquariums, so I know all about RO water and how important water quality is. You can't have a good aquarium if you don't have the base water that is just as pure and as close to H2O itself as possible, because you want to add the nutrients yourself in the right manner. Just like was it Julia Childs, the famous chef, right? Use unsalted butter, because when you add salt to salted butter, then you end up with a mysterious amount. You end up ruining the flavor of your dish, right? So
Right.
use unsalted butter. So if you have a teaspoon of salt, it's actually a teaspoon of salt. Same concept when it comes to having a base water that's super pure. So that's cool. And you guys had an iron ring in there, and I've seen that in more rural areas, I guess in Missouri and stuff like that, where iron from well water, and it really will stain the back of your toilet and even until the bowl itself and stuff over the long term. So it's got to be good for the animals. Too much heavy metals can't be good for a system that small. So that's neat that you guys paid attention to that. Was there a point where you had been using tap water? How long was it? A month, a year, 2 years, and then you switched over? Any dramatic changes besides the water bowl cleanliness appearance?
It was probably about 6 months that we used tap water, and
Okay.
then we went ahead and got filtered water going. And I agree with you with the urates. Usually that's the first thing down by the butt is the urate. It's not, typically when you see them poop, that's the urate first. So if it's a big old wad, a cannon wad, you know what I mean, plugging it up, it is difficult.
It is, yeah. And I would hate to have a complication. Knock on wood. I've had one stuck shed, and Yeah, my Biak lit me up. Didn't care about the gloves, the goatskin gloves I was wearing that I bought just to dedicate to any snake handling that might get dicey. It just bit the crap out of my wrist right here where the naked skin was. I had bruises underneath that skin. It popped blood vessels, and it wasn't even that big. It was maybe 2 foot at the time. Skinny, still small, and just whack, 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 whack. I was pissed. So I've only had one stuck shed. Thank God I've not done that again. Learned my lesson. So that's very cool. It looks like we got viewership up. Thank you. Ro texted me back, said it's all good now. Not sure what he did. Doesn't matter.
Thanks, Ro.
Yeah, I don't know. There was something where it wasn't showing up as like in the push feed for YouTube. People could only get here by clicking the IG link. So
yeah,
hey.
I could tell he was tech savvy. So I messaged him and I said, "Hey, I got a new camera and I want to get on the computer this time. You know, you got any time to do a pre-run with me?" And sure enough, 5 o'clock today, he dialed us in, turned the camera on, muted the microphone. You know, he got us all dialed in, and then said, "See you later." So that
Yeah.
was cool. It was nice of him to take time out of his day to do that.
Yeah. Very, very nice. Very, very kind of you, Ro. Thank you for taking the time. It's the other host of Contra Corner. So super awesome. And I didn't realize. So now I know why you mentioned, we're on the computer, we got the big screen. I didn't realize you had some new tech, some new hardware you were trialing and wanted to make sure it worked. I know I had that issue with my webcam and his microphone. I had to call my tech support, which is my brother Mike in St. Louis, and he's always my tech support, whether he likes it or not. And I had to call him, and we ended up having to assign USBs to the job, and then force the computer to lock down the mic output and our input, and it's worked flawlessly since. So it's great. But sometimes, yeah, I'm not. I think my main go-to tool for problems like that are real fidgety, fussy is a hammer. Right? In my mind, it's like I don't have a tolerance.
Last time we tried to do it, there was a lot of echo on your end, like when we tried to. So I guess we needed to mute the computer microphone and let the camera do its microphone. So there wasn't two microphones at the same time.
Yep. I had to do something similar. I don't know what the wizardry. It's some kind of voodoo. There was like chicken heads and a dance, some smoke. I don't know. But yeah, the webcam up here has some mics in it, and we had to turn those off, force them off, and stay off, so that I could use this super sweet, swanky radio mic. It was
there you go,
$30 used. Porch pickup marketplace. We're balling, you know.
We got to get that. We got to get one that comes over like right
with the big fuzzy boom. With the big fuzzy boom, so you look
right, comes over the head.
I got a little one. I got the little mics thanks to Markham. Hey, speaking of Markham, did a video drop today. I don't know this guy, some Yahoo did a chondro care video with Markham, and he had turned me on
cool.
the little mics. And so, yeah, if you get a chance, check that out. He's a real ugly dude, but some good info, solid info. But yeah, so they got the stream fixed. We got all kinds of people here tonight. Shout out to Bosa, Richard Kensinger, nice 319 Reptiles, Herp Collectors. Looks like I'm going to say maybe Mike or Rose in the background, shoot some messages off. Good to see. All right, it's great. I'm glad. See, this is what I wanted, man. I want everyone to be here to like kind of chime in and be here for you, because I said
this is the first time we've ever been able to see comments and stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay,
so yeah, that's cool.
I didn't realize there was a jump in tech or a change in your like from phone or tablet to this. So I guess that I didn't catch that drift. So I'm very happy that you were able to.
Yeah, for anybody doing it, it's definitely better on the computer.
Yeah,
you can interact. You can see what you guys are saying. That's cool.
And I started podcasting on TikTok, and the phone was the way to go, and phone was great for that. And I never really adopted the desktop platform for the studio. Oh, we got a super chat up here. Tropical Starburst. Thank you so much. Look at that. Boom, showing some love. Give them a pin. Thank you for your contribution.
It's cool.
That's awesome. Oh man, heck yeah. You know what? ML. Gosh, who is ML? That's my brother, my tech support guy, Mike. Thanks, Mike. That's my dude's name. That's my IT guy coming in. I'll just stick that on my next bill. I'll send that dollar back to you, Mike. I appreciate you. Now he helps me out a pickle. I'll be freaking out like my Xbox won't work. I just plugged it. He'll just walk me through it, talk me off the ledge. He's a great brother. Well, let's see. What else did I have for you, Jaden? I think I had one more question for you. If I could find it here, what did I have? Biosecurity, glove up. What do you do? What's your opinion of gloves, good, bad, or otherwise? And how do you handle biosecurity on a physical standpoint there in your collection?
So So basically, gloves on pretty much anytime we mess with the snakes. Like it's a much rather better safe than sorry situation. So basically, how a normal like way that we would do it, me and him or by myself, is that we would get our gloves on, make sure we have a F10 rescue. What was that spray that we used? Rescue.
Yeah, rescue.
Yeah, just rescue. I have a spray rag of it, just like on standby, so that I would go ahead, do the snake. I get the water bowl, dump it, grab the water, dump it into the snake spin, close the door, take my gloves off, and then I'd wipe my hands with the rag, and then also take a pump off of a Perel, and then our hands are just super clean. And then I use it's a separate rag. It's like a wipe, an F10 wipe, and then I use that to clean the handles of the pitcher that we use to pour the water into the jug.
You don't think of those things. Transfer, yes. High contact surfaces, things like doorknobs for humans, refrigerator handles, microwave handles, those high
Yes,
touch.
and
You don't think of it sometimes. Yeah, very, very smart.
yeah, and every time, and I would like to say that after like a section, we have like a right side and a left side. I usually do like a little mini. I don't like clean everything that we touch, but like I do a little reset of like just the counter and like just making sure all the pitchers and cups are clean, so that it's for sure safe for the next section of the snakes.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
And then after we're all done with the water change, then I go to like the handles, the faucet that we use for rinsing out the tubs, and also the table that we use for the water and stuff.
So,
And
how many condos do you have? It sounds like you have quite a few. I mean, it looks like a robust page on your Instagram here. Well, how many do you guys have right now?
There's about 20, 25 that are, 2020,
Yeah.
2019 animals.
Oh, nice.
You
Okay,
know,
that's awesome.
So that's mainly when we purchased, was right in that era of time, and then we stopped. And we just put the desire for wanting more chondros up on the shelf for a minute.
Mhm.
Get our husbandry down, prove to ourselves that this is exactly what we want to be doing.
Very smart. Yep.
Produce. We told ourselves that we wouldn't buy anything until we produced. And so last year we produced. And
Yeah,
that was nice.
that is nice. So this is your fourth clutch. You just had, I know you had some, but what, 2 or 3 weeks ago come out the egg? And
Yeah.
then did you have some in the last couple of days, or am I wrong?
No, we still are waiting to put a female in the lay box. She's probably 18 days out.
Okay.
And then, we hatched 10 eggs and we got 9 living.
That's great. Heck yeah.
So far, 6 of them have eaten.
Okay.
Three of them haven't. I see probably 2 of them needing to be assist fed. And one of them was biting, wrapping, and dropping. So at least he's 50% of the way there.
Yep. There's one trick you may have heard this already that I've heard with the bite wrap dropper is while they've got a prey item wrapped and they're dangling off the branch with it, and they come up with their head, and is yours still holding the prey item in the lower half of the body, or they drop it all the way to the floor?
Yeah, both. I've seen
Okay.
both. Yeah.
Sometimes the second matching prey item I've heard can be a nice trick if they're holding that one down. And they're coiled on it, but they're no longer engaged with that prey, and they're up and they're looking. They're getting ready to slink down the perch and just drop the whole thing. Sometimes a quick second one of the same size, same prey item, it'll kind of distracts them and kind of like, and then they end up. I've heard that working, and sometimes the feeders that specifically do that.
And you're right. You're right. That's exactly what I did. And he took that one and did the same thing. you know. But you're right though. That was my first intention too. Was like, all right, well, we're already 50% there. You're striking, you're
Yep.
hitting, you're grabbing. Maybe it's a little too heavy. Maybe I need to just the head off and give him a lighter prey item so that he doesn't feel overwhelmed.
Let's see here. Now, what do you have any like as far as a tough feeder? Do you use gizzards or chicken heart? Do you use chick down? Are you using geckos? Is there anything else you're using that might be a secret that you've seen work for you? I know it's different for everybody. Sometimes it's probably just dumb luck, and we're all just trying to make sense of it. But what have you tried, if you have, and what has been successful at all for you as far as those go?
I'm gonna go pinkies, button quail. You know, if I see no desire for the pinky, then I don't really go for any chick down on the pinky.
Okay.
Because I like to use the beak of the button quail to do a little pecking. And usually the beak of the button quail gets them going.
Yeah. Yeah, because they don't have the same kind of ears we do. They don't hear acoustic, sound waves, vibration through the air. They feel it through, the surface. And I do that as well with animals as the tongs. It's kind of click, click, click on the edge of the tub. And you don't have to go crazy with it, but just a little click, click, click. It sounds like, a rodent or something hopping around, being a fool. And then that sounds like dinner to them. So I like
even
that.
like the tip of the beak is real pointy too. And it's not a hard beak because it's like a day old. It's still a little bendable. But if you just poke them a little bit with that beak, like on the body, if you poke them a little bit, you can get them going a little bit.
Cool.
A little bit quicker. And then if they're not going to do the button quail, then I'm going to try the chicken gizzard.
Okay.
Sometimes if you take the chicken gizzard and the quail, or chicken gizzard and the pinky, and pinch it with the tongs at the same time, show the button, or show the gizzard, back away, show the head. Sometimes you can get them to trick to hit the pinky, just because this good old switcheroo.
Wow.
They got the scent, they got the blood, they got everything all over everything because it's in the same set of tongs, but you're kind of showing one side, show the other side, and you're just kind of going back and forth. The next thing you know.
So you're not you're not wasting their attention span by going, okay, I'm going to set this down.
Yeah, together.
So they're
together
sandwich,
like a sandwich, you know what I mean?
Like an Oreo with one hot chocolate set aside. You got the white side, the cream, you got the chocolate side. You just got that in the tongs, and they're getting cream with chocolate.
And then say the cream's what the favorite, you know what I mean? So I'll show the cream, I'll get the tongue going, I'll back off, show the chocolate side, and then I just keep kind of going back and forth. Before you know it, the animal convinced itself to strike, and if it ends up being the chicken gizzard side, then so be it. If it ends up being the pinky side, I win.
I want dessert now. Chicken gizzards be damned. I'm skinny
Oreos.
fat. I had a stupid amount of bakery goods and like sweets. Like I don't know why, but I do sometimes, and it just goes I don't know where. But now I want dessert, so thank you.
But I like to be gentle. I like to put the time in, and I don't go straight to ass whooping. No. I try to save I'd rather do chicken gizzards before creating a runner.
Yeah, and I agree with that, and I think that's kind of gone away some. There's been some things you got to beat the crap out of them, you got to whip them in the head. But yeah, you'll end up making a scarring event where they associate food with a fear response, and then that's not good in the long run. So
it could be there's a million things. For me, I'm obviously trying. The dog. I don't know. I'm sensitive like that. I'm not in it I'll take my time. I got 2 weeks after shed, so I'll throw him the gambit for 2 weeks, and then after that, I'm coming in invasive, and we're gonna start assist feeding.
Gosh, who was it? Oh, don't give me a line. I don't know if it was Ryan Young. Somebody's well established, been doing it a long time. So they don't even worry about trying to feed for 2 to 4 weeks. Like after they have so much egg yolk to sack to absorb, they're good for a minute. There's no reason to not let them get good and hungry for a while before even stressing wearing your own patients out, much less the animals, or even just wasting food items. And they're not expensive per se at that size, but you got a mess to clean up. You have to redo the whole cage and guts and all over. And if you can avoid it and just let them get hungry. And I like that concept a little bit, unless you're what? When do you get scared? Is it the 6-week mark? Is it the
With a brand new Neo out of the egg?
3? Yeah,
I mean, 2 weeks after they shed, I'm getting hands on.
2 weeks. Okay,
know?
after shed,
And
2 weeks.
that,
Okay.
and that's what I've been coached to do. Again, we're new. We don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
matter of fact, 2 days ago sent out 3 messages. Was it 2 weeks after they shed, or was it 2 weeks after they come out of the egg? So, I even had to ask again, just to be sure, even though it's our 4th time or whatever.
So it's 2 weeks post hatch for you.
If 2 weeks post shed.
Post shed. Okay.
Yeah. Post shed.
Yep.
Because
Got
then
it.
there goes that egg yolk, that you were talking about that can really bridge them along, give them some time,
Yep.
I think out of the egg, they definitely are nice and full.
Awesome. Yeah. So you've had 4 clutches. It sounds like you've got a really nice adult collection. What do you see happening going forward here? Are you going to just keep kind of do you have some other pairs in mind for coming up for 26 that you want to hope to put together? Or are you going to, like I've done with ball pythons, kind of go, oh man, I shouldn't have bought that. That's way too low end for where I want to go and do with this. I'm going to sell these 3 and kick a little money to that and buy 1 badass animal. Have you changed plans at all with your stock since it's been 4, 5, 6 years, or are you still holding strong and steady and happy with what you got?
No, we're happy. We're always looking to add for the future, but we've got a lot of things that I have done the pedigree work on, and I say, okay, these 2 I'd like to breed, and if they don't go for us this year, they didn't go for us last year, or whatever, we'll just keep trying them until they go. I mean, we're not in a race, and we're definitely not in a rush. We want to make sure we get to learn how to capture all these podium spots of breeding, like catching the prelay shed, and catching the ovulation, and being able to identify it a little bit early, just based on body language.
Okay, I was going to ask, are you using body, like by behavior cues? Are you using palpation? Are you using ultrasound?
We'll do ultrasound soon.
Okay,
I think that's going to be in the future for sure, but I mean, right now it's all just paying attention to the body language.
It's a tricky skill with that particular animal. Usually a 2-person job, but I would say that I definitely take a tip from the ball python world in that it revolutionized breeding seasonally once a year to be able to breed year round based on what you saw, and it's not too terribly hard. So I think that's a cool technology becoming more accepted in other breeds, other species. So, and it's again your dog background. It kind of gives you a leg up to kind of you're already well aware of some of these things going into it, so you're not like fumbling quite as much as some people would getting into chondros. So that's pretty cool, that crossover. Even though dogs are so different from snakes, it's just there's some similarities. There's some scientific and breeding similarities there. That's pretty interesting crossover. That's probably why you guys hit the ground running so good. You probably had knowledge that you didn't know you had that other people were maybe lacking in the big picture. So that's very cool.
I think having a lot of snakes, you need to be able to have a little bit more way to, like, you're upping your risk of things to happen, or say tumors, or say cysts, or say growths, or stuck eggs, or so having an ultrasound to be able to go through, run it through, record it, and now there are places that you can submit it to for somebody that's been looking at ultrasounds to be able to say, hey, you see this right here, you need to go to the vet because this is this and this is that. Or like you can use the footage to send to other keepers. I mean, I know Bill's been looking at a lot of ultrasound stuff. I'm sure if he were to be able to catch a glimpse of a recording, he could advise, or say, hey, I would take a look at this, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. You use the
You know,
gallbladder as a marker,
Socrates,
right?
he's
And
been
then
doing a lot of fucking ultrasounding, you know, so like you can record off of them, so it's not just like, hey, I see a lump, or you know, some of these guys would know, well, that's by the heart, that's not a good spot, or
yeah, yep. That's interesting. Looking for pathology, not just fertility. That's a secondary benefit that maybe I don't hear that mentioned a lot in the ball python game. It's always about what size of those ovum are they? 10 millimeters, 30 millimeters? Are we ready? That's really what they focus on. And I guess you just look for the gallbladder, then you look for the ovals, and use your measurement on screen, and that's kind of what they document. And I guess smarter people would use a secondary. You got the tool there, you got the data there, you got the information. So why not look for other anomalies in that animal's imaging? That's pretty cool. We usually try to keep it around an hour, but give or take. I want to look at some of these videos you sent me and some of those things on your page, especially some of these new Neos and some of the things that I thought were jaw dropping in your collection. But I got two questions for you. One is, you mentioned kind of someone who coached you. Do you have a mentor, and someone that took you under their wing specifically, or was it kind of a community think tank? And are you comfortable? Who's your mentor, or what have you? Do you look to mentor in the future when you feel confident? I mean, it sounds like you're still very humble, as am I, and I wouldn't dream of mentoring anybody as far as something that is such high stakes. So
I'm not, I mean, we're not in the position to really mentor, but if somebody came to me and felt like we make them feel confident and they're willing to listen to me, then listen to me talk, then I'll give them my opinion with a little bit of layered knowledge, you know what I mean, from the horticultural world, you know. As far as mentors, you know, John Irby held my hand for my first clutch. And I mean, when I had anything on my mind, I put it in text, I sent it, he gave me an answer. I really appreciate that. I mean, he really kept me off the ledge. He kept me from making stupid little mistakes in the beginning. And then after the second one and the third one, he slowly let go, and I started to implicate things that I had acknowledged as I learned, as I was picking up, or you know, mold, or just little things, little subtle changes. So John definitely helped me out big time.
I've been getting into that guy a lot lately. I hope to get to meet him. I've been just lately, the last week or so, just digging deeper and deeper, further in the past of his Instagram page and his captions, so to speak, below the pictures. There's sometimes just some great knowledge in there. I think I even spun one yesterday. I was like, man, this is just like a knowledge bomb, because it was just like, wow, it kind of felt like it slapped you straight. Like you read this, you're like, oh man, shit, I've been thinking about this wrong the whole time. This was in regards to lineage and nomenclature of who you call what and why. And oh man, it was like, wow, that as much as I
had a gentleman reach out to me and ask me like, hey, I know I don't have this lineage from you, but you seem like you could find it for me. And I said, yeah, sure. So I jumped on MVF, and lo and behold, it was stuff that I copied straight out of, like what you said, John's breakdown. And I just copied and pasted it and sent it to him. And the guy was like, holy shit, thanks. That answered all my questions, and you found it lickety split. So yeah, I do appreciate John for sure. You know, Dave D in the beginning.
Mid-Atlantic Arboreals, right?
Yep. And then like Dave D in the beginning helped me get the basics of everything, temperatures and feeding, feeding programs, and just like, yeah, Dave also helped. So when you say like, Socrates has helped, so I would say,
man, I love his snake room. His conjure room is to die for. And that Bolin's in the living room. That setup is it's nice, man. That guy's got it going on. He's a cool dude.
And I mean, we're chameleons. We can watch other people's page and learn too. So when you come back to the answer, I'd say the community. Yes, we've dipped into other people a little bit deeper, like I said with John. But I mean, the community, that's what we've learned from, and seeing people post their mistakes, seeing people post their achievements, just like everything, seeing the amount of just the amount of success and the amount of failures, you can really tell what you got to get ready for.
Yeah.
You got to get ready for the chondro roller coaster. We had a lot of ups and downs in the last 2 months, and at one time we had eggs, and the next time we had one dying, and the same morning we had a prolapse, and then the next
Oh, boy.
morning we had and then the next morning we had an ovulation. So it was like up and down,
Wow.
up and down.
You
So
just
as long as you're
mentioned,
prepared for it, and as long as you're like, programmed yourself to say, hey, I'm feeling real good right now, something's about to happen.
you just touched upon something. Proof is on the top of your Instagram page. I'm going to pull that up, and I still have one more name question for you, a different avenue, but I'll buy that one in a second. We'll pull up your Instagram page. You say you celebrate, you share your successes, but you also equally share your pitfalls, your downfalls, your own mistakes, things that happen out of hell, I don't know why, but you still share it because it could be a community, think tank. Oh, well, that happened. That looks like something that happened to me twice 10 years ago. And so I changed it, and now it never happens again. You're like, oh, I did that. And you didn't even know you did it. So sometimes sharing your failures can lead to future success and preventing it. And now that person just fixed your wagon, but now you can fix 3 other wagons, so it pays it forward. And that's really cool. And you don't just talk the talk, Rob. You also walk the walk. I'm going to show your page here. And right on top of your page, I mean, you got, let's see. We're going to do we don't want to invite guests. We want to do a stream. There we go. Image, we'll share a screen. And we're going to share from Instagram. All right. Let's see. That should be up there now. Let's see how we're looking. All right. Looking pretty good. I'm going to pop us down.
Uh-oh, he clicked the wrong button. You got to make yourself come back. You disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still here.
There you are.
There you
I
are.
took myself off stage. As long as could you hear me? I just wanted to be out of.
You could just see the mouse moving.
As long as you could hear me, I just didn't want to take your limelight. I was going to let you dive into these a little bit. This one here in the top left, that one is the class clown, Smooth Brain. This one right here, the turban.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hey, Bobby, you're not perching right. It goes under the branch, not on top of your head. So this is one of your recent clutches, right, from this past month, if I'm right?
Yep. And there is a 9th one. It was showing its back and it tucked its head, and I just didn't end up getting a picture of it.
What's your holdback on these? If they're a number 1 through 8, I guess fairly logically. Well, how many holdbacks you keeping?
I'm gonna keep them all.
Man, what was the pairing here?
That would be our Lieutenant Dan.
Velvet Blondie to Wrangler Moonshine. Okay.
Yep. So those yellows, we're gonna keep them. I think it's worth playing them out and seeing what they turn out to be.
You just want bargaining chips with Mark Hager, don't you?
No. I think that I really do think they're gonna be pretty crazy. Something's gonna come out of them,
I love yellows too. People hate on them. And my collection started with yellows, but
that one at the bottom that has that little like bronze cap on that, we thought that was pretty cool.
Yep. And then on the page 2 here, do you subscribe when it comes to red neos, like the busiest pattern or the least or the most reduced pattern or orangest diamonds, or is there something? Just the darkest color, everybody goes for that. Is there something you subscribe to that if you're going to pick out a red neo that you go, when I see a clutch and all things are equal, I want the one that has which attribute? Is there something that jumps out at you that is a winner?
Now, I like that one in the top right, how it's got real thin and multiple slashes through it, but more so if you see like the curtains along the side of the belly, all the dots. I like that feature. So far, that feature has turned out with this male's other clutch. The first clutch that he did before us, that feature was also in the other Neos I saw. The one that's missing has a very, very busy, bold diamonds. I do think that the bottom right That one had a nice, that one.
Those
But
three
that
red
one,
Neos are my favorites by far. The top left, there's a lot of black hazing that's it's not linear. And that makes me think, is there any melanism in the background of these animals' lineage?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this male that produced this clutch, his first clutch has one really high black animal and two medium high black animals all in one. So three that are holding a lot of black out of that one clutch. So I do think he has melanism. He's got dark eyes. He's got a real, like, the back end of his tail's real dipped black.
Yeah. See, look at this. I'm on page one of these 8 Neos again. The bottom right is not, it doesn't have really much of black outlines or a black dorsal tracing. And the one above has got some black outlines on Simon, jelly bean shapes, different color.
See,
yellow.
and then one of the things, one of the reasons why I want to keep these is because I'd like to figure out a little bit on who is the red dominant one. And that bottom right, it kind of, to me, looks like it's got a little red yellow. You know what I mean? It's kind of got that tomatoey,
It's like
so
all
it's,
five of
again,
those
I'm
reds
just
are very different.
talking, just brain dumping. I don't know, but ultimately, what I've learned through talking with John and talking with Christian and talking with a couple of the other guys, that the darker reds may be the red doms, and the reds that are a little tomatoey might be the capital R little y. You know what I mean?
Yep. They're
We
different,
did-
man. All
yeah.
five of those reds are different. They each have an attribute. Like the bottom right, this one, really triangular triangles. But I've seen plenty of these with the black stripe being very clear. It doesn't necessarily translate to, it may be a blue stripe when they grow up, but it may be more predictable. I could be wrong, but I love the diamond patterns on that one. I love the cleanliness of it. And the one above it, just north there, very different. And I love, like you said, that yellow orange flashing down near the ventral side.
That was a feature. That was a feature that played out really well in the first clutch as well. Is that I don't even know what to call it. It's almost like a sunset. You know what I mean? It's got like this fiery look.
Yep. And then the one to the left, I mean, may not catch one's eye at first, but when you look at it closer, the
head,
black, the black on the head and on the dorsum, and it's not a stripe; it's blowing out like tar spatter, and that makes me excited because that makes me think I get black melanistic, pixelation. Where the other one,
the head on that one looks really tattooed. It's got a lot of design to it. It's straight black with a lot of
stripes are similar to the ones that are right, but different color.
And you have just a little bit of yellow, right? But the same kind of design.
And then these are different. I mean, this one has some similarities, a couple on the second page, but the bottom right one, it's an oddball by itself. It doesn't stick to any of the rules of the other ones at all. So I could see why you're keeping them all. I mean, I really do.
Well, I mean, just to speak about like moonshine, right? So moonshine, her parents come from like snakes like Zeus, and it was like Dave D's like hardcore powder blue. He landed a lot of badass snakes out of that clutch. And then coming back towards Wrangler, Jake was a really, really nice blue snake, bred to, what was it, Jake and Reba? So Reba's a Highland Biak.
Yeah, I've heard of Reba, but I don't remember who owns her.
So Highland Biak, I mean, there might have been a little hint of yellow there. And then on the Velvet side, Velvet October was bred to 71%, which 71% was Versace bred to Sarong. So maybe there's a little bit of yellow from there too.
Man.
But for me, I like the outcome. But I'd like to, for dogs, we can send in testing to find out pre-breeding to know whether or not these two dogs together, are they going to make black and tans? Are they going to make red and tans? Or are they going to make fawn and blues, which are dilutes? It would be nice to be able to maybe help RGI build a way for us to know what our dominant sexes are with the sheds.
I've talked with my buddy Chuck at Chill Chondros, and he's been a great resource for me. You were talking about people that kind of help you and kind of step up over time, and he's definitely one of them for me. And we had a really in-depth conversation once, and there were some things like, man, can't they just hit gender testing at all? Like, what went wrong? They had it at one time. Where did it go? And we had a really in-depth conversation about the market economics and what would happen to what would happen to the competition as far as people wanting to raise them up and take the chances, what it would mean. And it was just not a right or wrong. It was just really interesting how the market potentially could change if you had that many entries going forward. Everything.
I mean, the gamble on everything is definitely what I think keeps people pecking away at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know what you're getting out of a Neo. It can go blue, black, yellow, green, whatever, it's polka dotted. You know, you don't know sex. You don't. So I do believe the lottery, the casino effect definitely keeps everybody chomping at the bit.
Yep.
But I mean, it would be nice to be able to, you know, put some money into them and find out sex and find out, you know, whether or not they're, when you go and take a female 8 years down the line and a male 6 years down the line and then breed them, and then you get results that are not exactly what you expected. Could there have been something to help you out for that time span? You know,
Yeah.
I think it can be done. Just takes a little bit of time.
Do you worry that the whole market would become designer and like stud males with better turn out badass are just going to be worth astronomical, and the other ones that are more plain Jane are going to just be worth nothing? And would it create a big disparity where, I guess if you were to say, I guess kind of equate it to, I don't know if it's entirely accurate, like if artificial insemination and ball pythons became viable, would it just be Canova cranking out custom perfect everything, and the price would be through the roof, and every hobbyist who was out there chasing a gene pool or a project that was a dinker, and then they just go, well, there's no point to it anymore. Is that, I'm just playing devil's advocate, is there anything, do you see any pitfalls that would maybe ruin the excitement for the general public as far as casual breeders, not necessarily big powerhouses?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that attribute happening.
I don't know. This is part of the
I
conversation.
I could see it happening for sure. But at the same time, you know, everything is on a scale, a sliding scale, you know,
Yeah.
and there's a cap and there's a bottom.
Yep.
As long as everybody, you know, appreciates everybody and respects everybody, it'll all work out.
Yeah. It's a great community, and I would expect no less. Everyone's been so helpful with knowledge since I got into it 3 years ago. 2.5 years ago, and it's just people have been a lot less stuffy and judgy than I think people in the rest of the reptile community made them out to be. And so it's been a very pleasant surprise hanging out, and thus I'm here. I mean, it's just, I didn't back into chondros. I've been in reptiles since the mid 90s, early 90s, and I got out of them for my 20s and 30s, but I got back into them a decade ago. And when I started with the purpose, I didn't think, oh, I'm a ball python guy, I'm gonna get me a chondro. No, I went and got me a chondro, and then a rainbow boa, and then started paying another chondro, and then started to get some ball pythons thanks to my daughter, who was, I think, 8 at the time. She went on one, and I kind of paid attention to genetics and fell in love with the genetics of them. So,
yeah, I said before, your path, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting
what you want to breed into with the ball pythons. You know what I mean?
Yep, and that's why they're part of my focus. They're not. They'll never ever be all my focus. That's for dang sure. I'm getting some northern white lips, and I got rainbow boas, and and the chondros. And ultimately, I want to get Madagascar tree boas as my 5th and final species. But I'm not going to do emeralds. I'm not going to do Amazon. But I want to do Madagascar tree boas.
I like the white lips. Those are cool.
Yeah, these are captive bred northern white lips. Yeah, I get a 1.1.
That's cool. I like the way that they look.
Shout Kyle Markham Reptiles. He's got some more coming this year, I do believe. He's got some other pairings going on. So there ain't but a handful of white lip breeders in the U.S. Pretty narrow base. And I know 2 of them, TJW out of Missouri, and William Philippek, and then Markham Reptile. So those are a couple of guys that solid dudes. So you were talking about, you did celebrate successes, and we learned from that, and you celebrate. Also, you don't celebrate, you share your failures. And we didn't even brought this page up yet, and that's why I said you just walk the walk, not only talk the talk, and that's really cool and respectable. So here, this post here, sad, and you kind of go on about what had happened, and and
I mean, you can
get animal injury. He shared his.
If you can envision that yellow sac should be straight I only know that because I saw one of the other snakes in this clutch kind of come out with that, you know. But if you can actually, if you look close, you can see the umbilical cord is tied right in the center.
This
And
here?
then, yeah, that bottom part is where it was connected to the, yep, right there is where it's connected to the snake. But you can see where it goes up and over and down, and then it even like squeezed the sack together in a U shape.
Mm-hmm.
We had a camera on this little guy, and I saw the reaction that the snake gave to try to get out. And I sat there and I was like, wow, that was a hell of a try. Like he really, you know, you could tell like, and then after that, we seen no movement.
Oh,
So
that
you
was the
know,
final
and
hurrah.
I talked to our buddy David Tran with Gulf Coast, he said, well, what would you do different? I said, you know, I think I might cut the eggshell a little bit on the left, a little bit open more. I might, you know, view in there. And he says, you know, I did that last time and they flopped out and it didn't work. It actually, they just kind of were donezo right away. He
Huh.
said, so maybe you might want to rethink that. So what would I do different? I don't know. I don't think I would do anything different. There's, you know,
Man,
I'm not gonna play Mother Nature.
right. It's
You
nature. I
know,
was gonna say that. Maybe it
I
just
would
wasn't
have had
best thing
to
to
have
make it.
backed that thing's tail up through the inside there, and then
Mm,
backed him up and pushed his head all the way through, and came out, and without ripping that off of his belly button,
mm.
like like my chances of ripping that off was higher than it getting out. You know what I
I
mean?
got you. Yep.
So sucks. It's a very nice looking snake, but at the same time, I'm not about building a page with him like it's all peaches and cream.
No.
You know, like the first time, like our second clutch, she put out like 4 good eggs and then like 13 slugs, and the first thing he said was, "Oh man, that's a bummer." And I said, "Hey, whoa, we got 4 good eggs here. Like, what do you
Right.
mean a bummer?" Like, you know, so it's just how we approach things. And I know that if you go about it in the negative form, it's gonna affect us as a team harder than if we took it as a learning lesson and picked it up and ran with it.
That's a great life lesson. Jaden, how do you react to that stuff? I mean, the other day my Biak was kind of like had a tail up on the perch and was laying down on the floor, but not like just like part of it, 2/3 of his body on the floor, just zonked out. My wife was screaming and like literally screaming through the house. Oh my God, Dewey's dead. As soon as I touched the lock on the cage, the keys, the animal got up like, oh, food, and like it always does. I was just gotten tuckered out. And sometimes, I mean, once in a blue moon, that animal will be down on the floor, curl up under the puppy pad. I don't know. That's just once in a blue moon. Never had an issue with that animal at all whatsoever. It eats like a monster, and never any issues with bowel movements. And so I didn't think anything of it, but it did look kind of odd the way it had the tail kind of wrapped around the branch and was laying on the floor. But as soon as the cage got disrupted, boom, it was up in the mat and went and perched, and just no worse for the wear. But sometimes they do goofy things. But Jaden, how do you take all this stuff? I mean, life, death, biology. It's not set in stone, and you got to kind of ebb and flow with it. How do you handle it?
I mean, like we've had multiple deaths with snakes, but like he said, like I try not to take it as like hard.
Yeah.
Like it's always a shame to lose a snake. Like, don't get me wrong. Like that's why I said it was a bummer, because like it genuinely was a bummer. But it's important to just take it on the chin, you know? Like not necessarily nothing to be sad about, but at least know that it happened and it's something that you can learn from.
Right. You did your best, so you ethically you feel clean. You did the right thing, and then it's biology. It's nature. I mean, not everything. I mean, I've seen headstones of people that were like my age, like 40, mid 40s, and then they had all these Ironman and triathlete, victory dates and medals and stuff like listed on there. They were obviously very proud, very healthy. Boom, dropped dead at 45. And then you got someone that's 95, been smoking 3 packs a day for 100 years, and you're like, they're gonna live forever. So it's just really sometimes it's biology, good, bad, or otherwise what you put into it. And it's great that you have a good level head about it, and don't let it get you down. That is important. That's awesome, and I'm glad you sound so intelligent about it, because it is a tough game, and I know that for people much more advanced than myself that have wonderful animals, and then something goes wrong, and wow, it is a heartbreak. Not just the money out on the animal, but just the time it took for you to raise it, and be excited about the potential, and then have that dashed. So it's definitely got to take it in stride. It sounds like you guys have a great mentality on that. Rob, this animal on screen, I love it. Everyone loves it. This thing is killer. 83 likes. This thing is awesome. Tell me about this animal.
It's the Lieutenant Dan, so it's the Velvet Blondie male with
It ain't got no legs.
the and the TA66 female. Again, we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. She definitely produced some really nice neos, combined with that Velvet Blondie blood. Turns out that she was strong enough in her red dominant side that she was able to keep everything straight and produced all reds. And I hope this one turns out to be really really nice. It seems to be going in the right direction.
Brother,
this is a little bit of an older picture, but it's definitely looking promising.
Super stunner. I love that. I really do. And this one too. Woo! Look at Rose. Look at the gift rope.
That's Jay's snake. So that was the runt. That it was about 6.5 grams out of the egg, and now has caught up with everybody and is looking really nice.
Even MJ wanted that OCC. Look at these coming to my house. Oh, look at the crazy broken up earthquake looking pattern on the back. It's not even, you couldn't draw a straight line if your life depended on it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I nicknamed him Wilbur because he was the runt. And yeah, look at him now.
Man, that thing is awesome. That is great. Yeah, 182. Man, that thing's got likes for days, and respectively so. That thing is badass. I love that, guys. Your page. I mean, these are just amazing. Oh, is that Wilbur? The same Wilbur?
Yep. That was younger.
Wow. Even that was awesome.
Before if you back out of that and keep going down, we'll find him as a Neo. I'm sure you'll see him. Is she
hormonal before I go back?
Yep.
I have a thing for hormonal.
So that's the female that produced those Neos.
Whew. Maybe I like the crazy. I don't know, but I have a thing for hormonal blue females. I tell you what, man, they look good. I love that aqua blue. Wish it stayed that way. All right, so we're looking for this Neo. Oh, that.
Yeah, right there to the left.
This one.
All the way to the left.
Oh,
right there.
That thing is.
Yep. So that's what it looked like, as a youngling. Didn't really have much of any pattern, color or nothing. It had that real black head, like the first Neo you were showing from our new clutch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Really?
Just all tattooed, like Darth Maul looking.
And a lot of black seems to be coming in the most recent photo, which you even say is a little outdated now. So, really, gosh, it's just, you put all this knowledge. We're so smart. We learned all this chondro stuff. I talked to everybody. I called Bill. I called Marshall. I talked to everybody. I talked to John. I called MJ. We all about a powwow, and I picked the best snake ever. And then you just don't know. Sometimes you put all the knowledge in the world, and then you go, wow, I didn't see that coming. It's incredible. It really is.
And that, that's what's fun about it for us. Is a lot of the guys let us get it really nice genetics, and now we're kind of starting to put them together appropriately that I see on the pedigree, and you can see that's that pattern as well. It's kind of got that slashing dots throughout the belly.
I don't know why, but that frosty gray seal blue and that white ivory with that dark maroon, it makes me think this should be like a bad guy in G.I. Joe, like an 80s cartoon. This should be some like Destro, the guy with the chrome bald head, and King Cobra or whatever. I forget his name, but he looks like he should be like the inspiration for a bad guy in G.I. Joe back in the day. A really badass character. His colors are unique. Now, is this animal still with you?
Yep.
And is it up north on the page or south? I want to see. Did we see growing up on that one?
So I want to say that was 16. Hit it again. Did it have a caption? No. No.
Negative. September 29th, 25. Not terribly long ago.
Yeah, I want to say that was 16, and you showed that one. It was higher up on the page. It was the blue, and keep going. Yeah, that one right there. To
Okay.
the left. To the left.
This guy?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's yeah, you guys are pegging what I'm into. Okay, yeah. So that's you can see my vibe. I love those. I really do. Great animals, man. You produce some amazing stuff. These oranges on this one are
Yeah, that's
man, oh,
that
man.
31. That one's coming along good too. Everybody's on bigger perches. Those are all like 60 to 80 grams.
Wonderful. And now out of these, I mean, it sounds like are you keeping a lot of holdbacks? You told me about some of the older animals. Your holdback brack. I mean, how's that looking? How many animals? I know it's going to be different for every clutch based on the parents and stuff, your expectations, but I mean, how often do you move animals? How often do you make them available to the public? Are they gobbled up through word of mouth immediately? You don't even have to bother with posting them or morph market, or how you move animals for you?
I like the morph market. I'm gonna start to use that a little bit more. It's nice. We sold one off of there. That was nice. Just the way that you can set it there and let everybody take a look at it. Social media like Instagram, it seems like you gotta put a little bit more effort into it. I think the morph market's a nice platform. Just as long as if you get updated pictures, you just put them on. And yeah, that was the male that you had up.
Yeah,
That
Lieutenant
we
Dan.
used.
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah, so you can kind of see where the melanism's coming from.
Mm-hmm. And the blue undertones. Look at the skin beneath the scales. It's that sky blue.
And again, that's a good characteristic of getting allowed to buy into a clutch and buying what was available and not getting to, not, I just had that one to pick from. So that's what we bought,
Okay.
I knew it was a male. That's all that I knew. And, it turned out good because he's breeding for us and he's a phenomenal snake to handle. He's good husbandry. So it works for us.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, we produced 2 snakes off of her last year. It's a really nice picture.
Oh yeah, excellent. Do you work any locality specifics? I mean, I guess I had aspirations of making it Tamika U.S. Catcherbred. Biak is really catching on in popularity as far as U.S. Catcherbred efforts. I wouldn't
The
say
only thing that I could do locality wise would be an Aru to an Aru and a Biak to a Biak. That's the only way I could go. I only have 2. That's 66 also. That's the female to the Neos that you've been showing.
I must have a thing for her. I'm telling you, I like the baby she makes. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, and I like the orange, the yellow down the sides. It goes all the way through. She's still hormonal. She still looks awesome. I didn't breed her this year. I gave her the year off. I think that'll be my. I think that's a good
I'm reading
thing
the history on this thing. Tell us about this. A twin litter mate to Aqua Girl, the OG Calico. And if anyone's read the more complete chondro with Greg Maxwell, God, I want to meet him. Calico is just like amazing in the background of how that came about and how they developed. It's that pioneer stuff is interesting to me. Sorry, Mr. Blue. Huh. So what about the lineage on this? Anything that you can elaborate upon on this particular animal that makes her so outstanding?
I mean, she was a collaborated breeding between Cody and Tim Morris. So, I mean, that was a snake produced out of Tim Morris's collection. So for me, that meant something just on its own.
Yeah.
And then as we started to produce babies, we started to produce the pedigree and started to compile some of the information. And then we started to find out that some of the siblings or the ancestors of this snake were siblings of some of the really big name snakes.
Mhm.
Again, probably just not as high as a phenotype, and they kept, the clutch or a few of the clutch, and just because it wasn't a super blue or it wasn't a true blue, still had the genes to be able to push it through down the line. um, I think that was one of the big things that I took on was, you don't always have to have the best one out of the clutch to be able to produce really nice stuff. Your factors might be a little bit lower. Say, you get 5 smokers out of 12 or whatever, but instead of like, a 10 out of 12, or, I'm just throwing out stupid numbers, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I'm saying for me, our first round of buying was genetics.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
as we
smart.
go on, now we'll just fine tune the phenotype.
Yeah. Someone else who's done that, I think, to an extent, is Lupe, Space Chondros. I love what he makes too. I really like the look of his animals, and he's done that. He went in hard, and he said he's never bought nothing that's not a designer, and he's built his collection around awesomeness, and then just has been producing some killer animals, in my opinion. I love what he does down there in Houston. I use this.
The closer you can get to, like, if it's a true blue that you're after, you will have a better chance if it's coming off of a true blue, but there's not always that option.
Right. I actually had used this as a quick meme story on TikTok today. I said, "Don't sleep on tonight's episode with Rob at Herp Collectors," and I did a little Z, like cartoon Z's coming off the head there. I saw you had a presence there on TikTok, and I shared, I think, all of your snake related stories today. So hopefully you had a few more followers.
Oh, that must be the wife on the TikTok, because I've never seen it.
I think she signed on, made a
That's
screen
cool.
name, and never came back in. That's what it looks like. So it's been
That's
a minute.
cool.
It's hard to spread yourself around all these social media.
Oh,
it really is.
For
It
sure.
really is. That's
Especially when you're teaching, and how you got kids to try to help out with it. And
Yep.
I told everybody we're gonna sign in, and everybody's gonna have the Instagram, and I'm just gonna start feeding each phone pictures, and then they can make their own posts.
Hell yeah.
With their own,
That's the side of a good leader. Diversification. That's right.
Yeah, well, with their own personality, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Each post will come off a little bit different because it'll be a different personality writing it, and I think that's part of it too. Just having him on the show, getting everybody a little bit of FaceTime. We're all camera shy, so we break it down as we can. So I saw your energy. I watched a lot of your shows, caught up on it, so I figured this would be a good one to bring Jay on. And
so I'm talking about. We like to make all of our guests, man, feel special. That's how I start the show with my partner. We had a co-host, Dreadnought. He was in California, and we always just want to celebrate the guests. That's why I started really liking promos, was just to put them on a pedestal and spin the good stuff about them. And just, I didn't come in like doing all the homework and research and had a whole bunch of I got you questions. I enjoy learning with the audience. Even there's stuff I know, and then there's stuff I don't know, and I'm not too proud to admit, like, how the hell you're talking about, tell me about it, because I'm sure somebody watching is going to have the same question. And that's the fun part. I just come in and learn with them, and I like this to make that guest seem special, get them some more followers. It isn't like I have millions of jillions. It's not like I'm coming to bless their account, but just the enthusiasm and sharing that excitement and raising awareness in the community of, hey, look at this guy. This guy's coming up. He's only got a handful, 100 followers, and his stuff is awesome. He deserves 1,000 plus. Come on, and just get the people put to where they belong. At least in my opinion, being in Reptiles since '92, like where I've seen for all these years, where that person deserves to be, because you could tell their husbandry, the quality of their animals, and you can see the humbleness in their account or not. And you try to elevate people that deserve it in this community. And
I think that's a big thing to hit on too, like you just said, is like, we're excited. We're excited to have put in all this time and treated these things proper and got them to maturity, and now it's time to put these things to to fruition, and you know, it's also not guaranteed. So even though you put them and you go through all these steps and you get to this and that, and well, you can have two snakes in the same cage touching each other all you want until you get an ovulation. You just got two snakes touching each other, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
And that's the easy part, right? I mean, it was the
yeah,
incubation.
exactly.
And then
You know, so for me to hold it back and for him to hold it back, nah, what the hell? It's exciting. Let's roll with it. You know, have fun. You're gonna see it all. You're gonna see the, you know, the success. You're gonna see the learning lessons. You're gonna see, you know, I mean, just showers, you know, how we work, you know. I mean, that's that snake, that female specifically was holding for a while that we showed in the shower, and I actually put the male in there to stress her out a little bit, and lo and behold, she pooped. So we all fucking partied because, dude, it's like,
scared
come
the
on, man, like,
damn right.
you know, like if those two snakes are gonna breed, she needs to empty out, and if she's fucking sitting there holding and tail hanging on me, gotta be a
Listen, if
keeper.
you're gonna be married, you gotta be comfortable enough to poop in front of each other. Let's not have any secrets. Let's get it out in the open now.
That's right.
I took me a minute to think about where I saw this snake before, and I was looking at it a long time. It was on the road crew, I think, in northern Iowa, because that is definitely road yellow paint that's been dropped all over it and splattered tar. If you look closely, that is yellow as yellow can be. I've never seen a bright lemon yellow that thick of a intensity. The saturation on that yellow. If anyone at home wants to play along with it,
that guy's on his second. We've got
yellow
one
teeth.
clutch from him already, and he's on his second one now. Like, she'll be going into the lay bin in like 18 days. That's the Wrangler Mercury male, which Mercury and Moonshine are both siblings, and that goes back to that Dave D clutch I was telling you about. And then, like I said, Wrangler, it's got that Jake blood in him, which is phenomenal blue blood.
We could do this all night. We've gone a little long on this. I want to touch these last two videos with you and try to get a wrap up here. This is just an awesome collection. And
Thanks, and you can see, finally, I got to get the snakes outside. You see the one female there. That's our first female with the white flowers. Yeah. So in Michigan, man, we got like maybe 2 months where we can get those really nice pictures. Everybody in Texas is so
spoiled.
Lucky. Yeah. I see everybody.
It's a hotbed. There's something in the water down there. All they gotta do is go to their neighbor's house for a cup of sugar, and a chondro falls in their lap. Oh, hey, breeder, what's up, breeder? Like, it's crazy.
So that's another thing. Like, with our pictures, it's like I don't have but like 2 months to really get outside pictures. So to me, that picture is not what I see. I see them inside most. So when I see that, I'm like, holy shit.
Right.
You know, that's a beautiful picture.
Yep. Lighting makes a huge difference.
And that is our first snake. That's Jay's first snake.
That's awesome. The lighting is a huge difference. I just did a post, I don't know, a week or two ago. Same animal in different lighting. Cloudy day outside, sunny day outside, indoors, dimmer lighting with a concentration from one side, or just overall lighting. And the snake looked completely different. It was the same animal in the same time frame. And yeah, so I guess like June 1st, you guys are like, okay, kids, 64 ounces of coffee a day, 24 hours a day. No one's sleeping. We're going to photograph.
Yeah, all pictures, all fucking time, nonstop.
No, if I catch you sleeping.
I made a little fucking perch stand that so that way I could just grab a perch, stick it on the stand, back up, take a picture.
Oh, you talking about the snakes? I thought you meant the kids. Like, get back out there on your stand, kids. Picture.
No.
We didn't buy you a Nikon for nothing.
And so that picture, that was altered a little bit. That, you know, that's an in-cage picture that went through whatever computer photo program we have, you know. But yes, and I'm not ashamed to tell you which ones have been fucked with. We don't rarely do it, but that one's one of them for sure. Yeah,
neat.
It's a cool little picture though.
For sure. Man, killer collection. If anyone needs some eye candy, definitely touch your ham chondros. Get on that page. Be sure to follow. 926. Man, we got to get you to 1,000 here. By what? We got about a week left in the month, a little less. About a week. Oh, it's a short month. That's right. We got 5 days. Stupid February.
We got a nice gift for our 1,000th follower.
Oh,
so
I'm gonna leave your page and come back and try to beat 1,000 then. Okay. Can I do that?
I thought about that too. I was like, yeah, there
Oh,
goes
I
everybody
don't
coming back.
I should not have said that. I just gave away my. Oh, there you go. I want to remove that one. There you go. And let's take a look at these. So, Jaden, did you have a good time tonight, man? Anything else
Yeah.
you want to add?
Not really. I don't think there's anything I could really add.
Cool. That's great.
Everything you asked and everything's been said that
I don't want to leave any stone unturned. I know you guys had a different angle on this. I think more the biosecurity very serious, and we got to dig into that, and I got to dig into your plans, your mentors. And I try not to bog down too much in temperatures and husbandry parameters unless the conversations kind of warrants it, because you kind of get repetitive. You want to take all that with a grain of salt, and each keeper's got to build their own plan based on what they feel is the most common echo they're hearing back from all the people they respect. So there's no exact answer for chondros, but there's a roundabout ballpark, and as long as it works for you, stick with it.
And that's what I would say too, is like we're built off of everybody else's information,
Yeah, you can mirror one person precisely, which works in some cases, but that better be a really damn good person you're mirroring. Or and they're out there.
Write it all down. Go to every episode, write all the knowledge down on a piece of paper, and then set them next to each other and figure out what's correlating to what you're doing. And in the dog world, we have a book bag of tools that we learn, and we throw all our tools in the book bag, but then we use only a few, but we have them in there for ourselves for the future.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's always something that you want to keep all the knowledge, but just use what's best for yourself that you see. And also try to stick to common knowledge. Don't go fucking from one side of the spectrum to the other side of the spectrum.
Yep.
Try to stay somewhat similar.
Let's look at these two videos here right quick. And let's see. That one is, I want to bring in, I'm going to stop that screen so that it allows us to bring in another one. I want to bring in, it's a pot shot. I don't see. Oh, it looks like it's the melanistic one. Okay. And take that one here. Look at, you guys seeing that all right? Yes.
Yeah. Yep. That video did turn out pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. I got it saved down to I just went from where you shared it to me to Google Drive, and then I actually didn't download it to my computer, so I saved another compression. I just left it. It's actually feeding right off my Google Drive is where I saved it to. So I was trying to not have it pass through email and stuff, even to myself. So I know you were concerned about loss of quality on that.
It did turn out good on this end.
Let's hit that replay loop because it is awesome. All right, so that's a lot of melon in there. Is this animal you produced?
Yep. That would be the Lieutenant Dan to the TA66 female. Although the few that you were showing, that's the higher black one out of them all.
Man,
definitely holding that one back.
Yeah.
Should have RGI shed sex results on everything real soon. I've been talking to Ben frequently. That one, if you notice, has that that belly pattern from the Neo that you explained. You remember like the Neos from just like a couple weeks ago? We were talking about that one with the slashes. It had like that belly, the sunshine belly spot that we were talking about.
Yep.
That one had the same look to it when it was younger.
So there, I'd kind of, let me get this off the screen here. I had kind of I asked that a bit. Like, is there anything you that you see as in a Neo if you were to go pick some? And I guess that question, instead of maybe aiming it towards a purchase, would be aiming it towards your own holdbacks. And there you go. There's an example. That orange, that sunset orange yellow down along with the busy, like almost micro stripe pattern down on that lateral side, where the lateral side meets the ventral side. I think it's it's a medical set.
And it looks like it goes from like that red color, and then right before it shifts to like the white belly, there's a little bit of like an orange fade to it. Like I say, it's almost like sunshine. You know what I mean? It's really sunshine coming up. I like it.
Let's
turned out pretty good. It's a good feature. I'll definitely hone in on keep holdbacks.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's the indicator. So now I know if I see one with that sunset on the sides, I don't care what the pattern looks like. It's coming home. Let's see. It's one last screen share here, and this from there.
To me, I think this snake and the one that you just showed, these two videos, I think are probably the best two so far out of that clutch.
Well, that's
I
not
think
that's not terribly surprising, Rob. That was an easy statement. Those are awesome, man. Those are killer snakes.
yeah, but I think that this one. I think this one definitely has the character, the calico characteristic to it. Hopefully, it holds true.
Man, oh man. Hit that replay one more time on that bad
And
boy.
that was the only one like that, so that one is definitely a holdback as well.
Very cool. I mean, gosh, well, we got about 17, 15 people left here. Let's wrap up. Let's get everyone. How old are they? How old is this one? They want to know.
There'll be a year, March 16th.
Okay.
I believe that one was like 162 grams. So they're the smallest one's about 90 grams, which was Wilbur.
Wilbur, huh? Let's see. Let's get that off of there. Can I pull that? Stop the screen. And let's see. Where did we go, sir? There we go. There we go. We just had a little pause and reset. All right. Very awesome. And let's see. Let's get us back to normal size. Wow. Figure that out. That is awesome. And those are great holdbacks. I mean, that goes without saying, but really cool stuff you've been producing. And man, I can't wait till you have more and more and more of them and get some available to us poor schmucks out here so we can get our hands on some of that awesome lineage, because that is really, really top shelf. Melanism is scorching hot, pixelation is scorching hot, and there's not much of it out there. So hats off to you guys. And 4 clutches, 6 years approximately. I mean, that's great. I mean, in 6 years, you've conquered something that, myself included, dream like one day maybe we'll get there. You guys have done it in short order, so hats off to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Heck yeah, it's impressive. Well, hopefully you guys had a good time tonight. Seems like you guys loosened up. You weren't too camera shy. I'm camera shy. You can tell.
Yeah, wasn't too bad.
Good. That's what I want to hear.
Now we'll shift to him getting some spotlight on his own. I'll fade away.
And the crowd goes wild. Cheating.
So I appreciate it, Phil, for
How about this?
for letting us on and letting it breaking open the apple, getting him some showtime.
Yeah, thanks for
for coming on. It wasn't a let-on thing. Thanks for making time to come out here. I appreciate you. And Jaden, when do you had to take a crystal ball guess? Your first clutch of your own, all on your own, from start to finish. Is it a year? Is it 5 years? Is it 2 months? Like, what are you thinking? Guess. Best guess scenario.
I'm guessing like 3 years.
Okay, reasonable. Respect. All right. Well, hopefully I'm still alive in 3 years, and we will. I'll try to get you back on, man. I don't plan on going anywhere, and if nothing else, don't make any babies and sell them all
You got
off.
good energy. Like I said, it'll be good. Earlier, you got good energy, so you'll be able to keep your seat. You know what I mean?
I hope so. Yeah. It's. I
Keep
just like
people
the community
going,
a lot.
keep the activity. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. And it wasn't super pressure, so I was able to squeeze him in. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. We went to guest. He said it feels special. So I'm glad you guys were comfortable. And if you guys had an agenda, said I was like, oh, I want to talk about XYZ, and you're like, well, I want to talk about the letter H extensively. okay, you're the guest, and that's what we would do. Like, I'm not going to argue with people. If I'm going to push against you, are you going to want to enjoy yourself? Are you going to come back again? No. Just like there's been guests more in the ball python world actually that are like, hey, let's not talk about that. And I'm like, okay, we won't touch on that topic. And there's things that are going on that I'm not aware of and don't need to be, and don't need to throw names and cause issues. So whenever a guest says topics on or topics off, it's whatever. It's as long as they're having a good time. We're just here. We put in general, picked guests for a reason. So we want you to have a good time and be in the best light possible. So hopefully that was pulled off tonight, and you got some new followers and some new customers banging on that door. Get that wait. You got a wait list? I mean, do you even entertain a wait list or?
Yeah, I mean, people message and say, "Hey, I'm interested in that." I gotta establish them. I'm waiting for sex shed testing. But if I know you're interested, I'll reach out. I'll get back to you. Most of the people that are involved with what we got going on, I'm communicating with them every other day, or saying
Okay.
what's up. So I tend to keep in touch. Shout out to everybody that's helped us out. Gave us the knowledge. I know sometimes giving knowledge is hard, especially when you got a lot of time and effort put into it.
Yeah.
It's not about the 10 minutes on the phone. It's the 10 years that it took you to get it. So we appreciate it.
Yep. And that's different about the contra community. People are so willing to share all their crib notes. Like, well, I got this whole booklet of how I fed, why, what I did, and you're like, wow. Because in the ball python world, they're like, you shall not know this secret. These are secret genes and no one else has them. And like, you're like, oh shit, okay, well, you want a $30,000 snake, but instead of sharing that, well, this is what I did to get to this, and I saw this particular wrinkle on this little black squiggle, so I knew it was something special. They won't tell you that necessarily. In the chondro world, they're much more open. Like you were with the sunset on the lateral to ventral side. You're like, well, that's my tell. It's like everyone in chondro land is like they're the worst poker players in the world. They take all their hands and they play them face out, and they're looking at the red side of the back of the card. And in the ball python world, it's the exact opposite. They're hiding cards. They're counting them. They got them up their sleeves. And like, nope, I got a pair of twos. And it's it's a full house. And so it's a very different environment as far as sharing knowledge and cloak and dagger. And that's not necessarily good or bad.
I was gonna say, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I don't want to feel that pressure. This page is just how we see fit, how we are going through it. So there's no sugarcoating it. It wasn't taught to us that way. It was taught to us about females hanging oviducts full of eggs over branches, and fucking males being locked with females. And then, all of a sudden the female takes off and the junk went with the female. That's how that was how we were brought up. So
I've seen one of those.
To me, it wouldn't make no sense to hold that stuff back. Because then when people get into it, then they turn around and they go, well, I didn't know that this was going to be this way. It was like, well,
and I always thought in the ball python game, if you're scared to tell some up and comer, some new guys, say I've been breeding for 10 years and I got a table of every regional bending show, and I got a market presence, and I do okay. I'm pulling down enough to be someone's career kind of money. And I still work, but I make half of my, let's say I make $100,000 a year a job and I make $50,000 a year selling snakes. That's pretty damn good. And so, but I'm not going to share that information with you. But the thing is, with those people that do share that, if you're scared, if you're at that level, you're producing on the regular. If you're scared of the new guy, just get on the block and goes, hey, I'm hungry. I got this idea. I'm going to take this sunset with this VPI, and then I'm going to put in a head G-stripe, and I'm going to do this. It's going to turn out great. And you're like, oh, don't do that, man. And you're like, shit, I'm going to do that. If you're scared of the new guy, that just means you need to up your game. If you've got 10 years on them, because chondros are even longer. It's just, you got 2 or 3 years of head start. If you're breeding now, today, and the new guy's like, man, I want to do that. Don't worry about it. 2 or 3 years from now, that thing's going to have gone up in value, gone down in value. Who knows what it'll change? What's the next hot thing? So if you're scared about the new guy coming up, that just means you're not very confident in what you're doing, because your plans aren't very forward thinking. And that needs to kind of change. I think the good people in this hobby, they're like, you help a young whippersnapper, guess what? And they hit that $30,000 snake, and they hit 3 of them or whatever, just making up numbers here. And they're like, man, hey, Rob, remember that time you sold me that snake that I really wanted? You didn't really have plans for it. You sold it to me for like $500, and man, I found out later it was worth like $5,000. I don't know why you did that. I just cut your grass for the summer, and I liked it, and so you sold me for $500, and you paid me good for the grass cutting. And then I should have done that. That was a $5,000 snake, man. If I was just a kid, thanks, buddy. But it's been about 4 years, and I'm in college now, and I still have that snake. And well, I made some $30,000 snakes here you go, Rob. I want you to have one. You know, sometimes that comes back and you don't really see it at the moment, but you know, putting good in the universe comes back to you, and just being positive and helping others out. Sometimes people, you don't know, they're not in a spot to help you now. And if you're able to help them in some way, you know, it comes back to help you. Or maybe you lose an animal. Maybe you had a sibling, you know, and you hold back one and you sell one, and they were very, very similar, and yours kicks the bucket for whatever reason. And then that person may be willing to sell it back to you, being like, oh, you got the better, you know, the other breeders to go with it. Like, you're going to need it more than I will. Here, it was a pet for me. I know you lost a sibling. Here you go. I'll sell it back to you. I paid $1,000 for it. Give me $1,000 and it's yours again. So you never know.
I mean, that's how I look at it, right? It's like I scratch your back, you scratch mine. You know what I mean? If I need something from you down the road, I've already probably helped you out. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, just keep it close, keep it tight.
And we bring in the Socrates and the Zen, and it's all positive. So I appreciate your time. Hey, we went a little long tonight. We took about an hour. We're about 2. But you know what? You're on Central Time instead of East Coast, so we kind of got away with it. So I don't like to keep our guests up too late. But I didn't want to just chip you out of the time because we were having some kind of feed. YouTube wasn't pushing it out. You kind of got a bum half hour there. So we made up for it.
We appreciate it.
Dude, this was a great conversation. That time went by so fast. I looked up and we were at the hour mark, and I was like, oh, we're not even halfway through the conversation. So we went to 15 to 20 viewers steady once Ro hopped in and clicked the button or two, or the Wizard of Oz flipped the switch or something. I don't know what happened, but yay, it's fixed. And so we got the viewership where I knew something was not right because we never tinkled in at like 1 to 4 viewers ever. So I was glad to see you get the crowd you deserve. So thank you, Ro, whatever you did, sir.
Nice effort on your video. That was a nice YouTube video I saw. You guys diced it up, cut it up nice, and faded in and out. It was good.
Oh, the one I did that Markham Reptiles put out? Yeah. I shot all that here and sent him all the stills and stuff. And then he put the nice donuts in, the music in the background, put in the donuts and the links and the headers on the bottom. But yeah, I gave it to him so he didn't have to do much editing because it's like 17 small videos, and then you can kind of piece and cut them as needed. But he ended up running the whole thing, and I got done a lot sooner than I expected. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. And
I've seen a lot of other people liked it too. So
yeah, it sounded like it was up and running pretty well. Unless I looked. But yeah, thanks again for your patience with the technical issue early on. And Jaden, thanks for your time, brother. I appreciate you. And hopefully, if it's not me, somebody's gonna have you on their show in 3 years, man. We better get on there because they're gonna get that.
We'll try to get it done next year. You know,
yeah.
He's starting to hone in on some of the body language. You know,
okay.
So that's first, right? It's honing in on the body language, being able to know what's what, and then we already have the plans set together of who's going to be with who, so he can just plug and play, and he can be the one to make it happen. You know what I mean?
Just better make those males plug and play and get that dang thing done, sir.
Nah.
All right, guys. Rob, Jay,
great. Thank you.
Have a great night. Appreciate you. See you soon. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. We went a little long tonight, but like I said, we were kind of minimal audience the first half hour. And so thanks for hanging out. And you guys have a great night. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And all of our sponsors are listed on our homepage here. They're all good people. They're all contributing to your education and your entertainment. So they appreciate you. You appreciate them by visiting their websites and giving them some love. And I'm Phil, Constrictly Business. Apparently, I got a new video on YouTube on Markham Reptiles. And Ro is up next Monday. I don't know the guest yet. And I'll see you guys back in 2 weeks. Hope you guys had a good one. And thanks for hanging with me once again. We'll see you soon.
Control, corner where we rise and roll. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Control, corner watch the future shine. Every scale of story, one of a kind. From the shadows we move, striking out bright. In every twist we find the light. Breeding the best, gotta have patience in this game. Control corner where we make our name. Control corner, control corner, control corner, control corner, control corner, control corner, control corner. Control corner where we rise and grow.